goes up to 55. See, this one's 55. And that one's 30. And then, because oftentimes I'll do it in drive mode, what you do is you hold one in front of the other, and then it'll show up. And if I can get my body up there. It's just hard with all my gear.
65038 Nora, Arizona.
30. Edward 1620, copy traffic. Charlie Frank 92 Arizona will be 60 and 77 with a dump truck. Do you do yards and stuff like that? Yeah. It's all good. Tarp? Oh, it broke? Okay, I gotcha. All right, if you'll hang tight, I'll be right back, okay?
1141. 1141.
Pulled this gentleman over for an unsecured load. He's got a dump truck full of pine needles. They're blowing all over the road. I'm going to give him a citation for not tarping it. As you can see, we're just sitting here and the wind's blowing it everywhere. Could cause an accident, so that's what we're going to give him a citation for. We're still back to the press hard 5 copies. I know Shola PD has a printer that they can do, but we do it the old school way, I guess, even though I'm a lot younger than most of those guys over there. We'll go for that. Okay, sir, here's your information back. I am going to give you a ticket for an unsecured load, okay? You can handle it in one of 3 ways. You can either go down to the court before this court date or on the court date and pay for it. You can fight it in court, or you can possibly go to traffic school on it, okay? It's not an admission of guilt or anything like that, just saying you're going to take care of it in by that date right there, okay, sir? Because it has to have a tarp on it. The wind, if anything's blown out of your load, it's unsecured load. And so it's unsecured load. It's just for a TV show. Okay. Do you have any questions about the citation? I'm not positive on that. I think it's around 240. Around there. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's about it. So it would have been cheaper for you to just buy a new tarp today, but unfortunately, right. Okay. All right. We'll make it over there. Make sure that it doesn't blow out. Okay. All right. Okay. Drive safe.
A female suspect we're looking for that had an inappropriate relationship with a teenager, and she was arrested on that, but then she got released, and there's a court order, an order of protection that was put in place. And yesterday She contacted the victim at the library here and violated the order. So we're looking to arrest her for aggravated harassment, which is a felony. So we're going to go check this place out because right now she is reported to be homeless. So we'll check this building out, and then she's known to go over by Safeway as well. A little coffee area there to charge your phone up. So.
Every single day.
I know.
1,000 times.
Yep. I saw her at the library yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
Why don't you feel like sitting on the box of the
Oh, yeah. Have you looked over there by chance?
No.
Okay. 98, negative contact. I'll be 76 to Safeway to check there.
Officer Joe Kohler, joined Show Low PD back in July of '95, so I've been here coming up on 24 years. And I've been with the Mesa Police Department prior to that. And then when I was in the service, worked for the Naval Criminal Investigative Service for 3 years prior to that, which is where I kind of caught the bug to do law enforcement. Yeah, I'm a native to the state. My family, going back, were all like miners and stuff from southern Arizona. Originally miners from Cornwall, England, back in the 1700s when they came out here. Spent most of my youth growing up in Scottsdale, although I moved up around Grand Canyon and some other places. Went to Coronado High School. Coronado Dons is the name of our mascot. Graduated from there, went and spent some time at Scottsdale Community College, where I got my associates. Then went on to University of New Mexico, kind of sampled the Southwest here, and ended up in Albuquerque, ASU, and U of A. I was into a military Scholar Officers Commissioning Program through ROTC, and that's what required me to move around to different universities. And I got my commission once I graduated from college at the U of A, which is where I definitely hold my allegiance with the Wildcats. My family, since I was a little kid, this is my father's heaven on earth, the White Mountains. This is where we came for camping and fishing when I was a little tiny kid, reunions as I got older, family reunions and get-togethers. It's been a special place for us, specifically up on North Fork of the White River out there by Holly Lake, just off the highway. So I've always been familiar with the White Mountains and always wanted to come up here, and leaving Mesa to come to Show Low was not difficult at all. Not difficult choice at all, and liked it so much, obviously stayed for almost 24 years. Compared to working, say, in a San Diego or Mesa in a big city, you work in a place like that, you kind of feel like the little Dutch boy story, where he puts his finger in the dike because there's a little hole, and another hole opens up, and another hole opens up, and like you're not really making a difference. Well, here, feel like I can make a difference. I had been the school resource officer for a year. They asked me to come back to patrol. They needed some more experience and some more senior people on patrol, so I came back, and shortly thereafter, within a year or so, maybe a couple of years, I came on duty on a day shift one day, and the officers say, "Hey, we had a call at one of the local motels. We think it's a sex crime related type of an incident. We've got a young lady who's a victim. We've got the suspect people. We're trying to sort out exactly what happened. And the young lady says she's asking for you by name. And she knows you from when you were the school resource officer, and you're the one person that she feels comfortable talking to, you know. And sure enough, they gave me the name. I recognized this young lady. I helped with a couple minor issues, really, at the high school back in the day. Car was broken into or damaged or something like that. And gives you an example where you kind of build that rapport and you feel like you're making a difference. You know, you can go down to Mesa and work with all those hundreds of thousands of people and spend forever driving around, and most of the people you deal with you're not going to ever see twice because there's so much going on down there. Here, smaller community, there's places I go to today that I walk up and people walk up there, hey Kohler, or they see you in places and they recognize you because you've dealt with them in the past, hopefully for good reasons, some bad, but I think it's one of the strengths of working in a small town environment instead of a big city.
This is 1970.
Okay.
I found out the officers make $50 more a month than enlisted men.
Really? Wow.
So I volunteered for OCS.
Okay.
Got my butter bars.
Nice.
$50 a month.
Well, that's outstanding.
And, hey, a year in Papua New Guinea, a year in
Okay.
Kuwait.
So,
And
out
also,
of
also spent 4 years in Texas because I'm from Louisiana. That's a foreign country.
so, which one was your favorite
But
spot?
but also, I'm an outdoorsman. So
Okay.
I went and explored 33 other countries.
Wow.
There's 196 countries.
Yeah.
So I got a bucket list of 157.
That
to go to.
is amazing. Well, good luck to you. I hope you
my
make it.
No, my favorite place
So,
was Australia
really?
because I felt like I did when I was growing up in the early 50s.
Okay.
People never locked their doors. I want to set up a meeting with the chief of police here
Okay.
because I have a personal issue where someone shot at my house 240 steps from my front door.
Wow. Okay. Where do you live?
I know the guy. I'm out at the Y,
Oh, you're out at the Y.
and I know the guy's name. I got his phone number and his address.
Okay.
And I want to charge him because he was trespassing on my property.
Okay.
And
So, that would probably be. Are you in Navajo County still, or are you in
no,
Apache?
I'm in Apache County. What I need advice from? I'm gonna talk to Apache County Sheriff.
Okay.
But you know, I got to go all the way to St. John's.
I know. Yeah.
That's so far away.
Sure.
Anyway, I just wanted to get an opinion
Okay.
from the chief of police here
Okay.
of because the deputy sheriffs that came out.
Oh, so you
'cause
did call him?
I had pictures
Uh-huh.
of his ATV tracks. I saw him. I mean, I could see on the ground where that ATV stopped,
Okay.
which is exactly where he shot from.
Okay.
And I saw the guy's ATV at Dollar General,
Okay.
and I gave that license plate number to Apache County Sheriff.
Okay.
They never tracked it down.
Really?
Oh, we're going to shoot some radar here and see if... I had a big time earlier. Like I said, I ended up with like 7 stops already, so usually it's 3 or 4, maybe 5 if I'm lucky in a shift. So, well, this particular model, well, all of them have an audio function. They make it a very annoying sound, and the higher the pitch, the faster the target vehicle is going. So sometimes you don't even look at the radar, you just sit here and drive, and you're used to a certain tone. You know that indicates, say, 45 miles an hour. You hear anything higher than that, you glance at the radar, and you can see the target vehicle and what the radar says. This one right now, the sound's turned down, And so this one I'm just going off the visual monitor. Like I said, it's got a particular pitch that I find very annoying. So right now I'm just going off this. So if you were to look at the camera, if that even shows up for you, or look at the back of the radar,
So
in a moving radar,
is that you?
the bottom number is patrol. That's my speed. So I'm doing, on there it indicates I'm doing 47 miles an hour. And then the top speed is the target vehicle speed. Like that guy in the truck, I can't pull over. I got a guy around on my rear end. That would have been a good stop. But I got somebody around on top of me and no driveway, so.
How fast was he going?
He was doing, at the high point before he saw us, 60. That would have been a citation for sure. As the city's grown and it gets busier and people are moving back to the mountaintop, when you're doing mobile radar, you have to be careful. We've had officers, we've lost patrol cars because they braked like I started to, and they've been rear-ended and had collisions. We just get more traffic up here and it gets hard to make those, flip around and make those stops. So sometimes you just have to let them go, get them next time. That was one of the advantages, whether you're for or against it, back in the day of the photo enforcement system we had here. It was automated and it caught speeders and recorded the license plate and a picture of a driver. In areas that were so busy, we couldn't put a police car and make any of those traffic stops. So we couldn't really make an impact in those areas. 260 South on the highway, Timberline Trailer Park area. Perfect example. People fly through there all the time. We put the photo enforcement in there, and after a couple months, you do surveys for speed and see what the high and low speeds were, the numbers of cars, numbers of violations. It was part of that Red Flex system that we had, and the speeds had dropped dramatically because people knew the cameras were there. And when back in the day when I started, I could work traffic there. Now I almost never can turn around. It's just too busy of a highway. So the photo enforcement is a big help. Ironically, when that system left the city and the contract expired and they removed the system, before they physically removed it, they left it on just to do the surveys, to record data, not to issue citations anymore. And when that made the news and the newspapers and everything else, they were going to turn it all off. And once they turned it off, within a month or two, violations were up like 600% within the first month or two alone, because people knew there was no enforcement there, is what I believe. So whether you're for or against photo enforcement, and there's pros and cons to it, I get that. That was one service I think we lost that was useful to us. And I'm sure it will never come back. Of course, they've passed legislation in Arizona now that, the state, you can't install it anymore.
Really?
So it's you can't install it. I think the legislation says you can't install it on the highways anymore. So all the photo enforcement that was on the freeways and the highway systems, mostly in the Phoenix area, have all been removed by law. You have individual towns that will hire a company to set up photo enforcement, but not the statewide on the highways and stuff like it used to be. So we're just working some stationary radar, doing some traffic control. This location here is a 55 mile an hour zone. Excuse me. About a mile before this, the speed dropped from 65 to 55 as people come in from the direction of the reservation and Globe. And so it's one of the areas where we get a lot of speeders flying through town. So we're just, like I said, we're just working some stationary radar. Your radar gun, you switch it from a moving mode, like when we're driving around, you have to switch it to what they call a stationary mode. So we're in a stationary mode. In stationary, this particular version of the Talon, if you look on there, you'll see it has, I can click through 3 modes. It will go to, I can specifically look at vehicles going away from me and nothing else. I can specifically look at the speed on vehicles coming towards me and nothing else. Or I can look at both. Vehicles coming and away. The problem if you do that is if there's vehicles nearby each other and they're coming and away, you don't know which one you're seeing, the guy coming or going. So I've got it set for, so I'm going to take it off of all, and it's set for approaching. So that red van that just passed us, that reading you're seeing right there is not the red van. The older radars, the old HR-12s we had, picked up everything. And so if there were a lot of cars on the road, they were useless because you just, in a stationary mode, they picked up everything. Heck, I even took those to the high school one time and used it to record a pitching contest with the baseball team to see who had the fastest fast pitch. You could use them for that back in the day. So, and he's slowing down. He's already seen us. He's already down to 59. And that's where it says, you see on the top it says target speed. So and now it clears out because we don't have anybody else there. What I can do is if I get a person that's going to be going fast enough to where I'm going to stop the car, like this guy, we're going to stop this guy. So let me see if I get him again. So on the radar, if you look now, I locked him at 67 miles an hour. He was actually doing about 69 at the highest. So let's flip around here. Got no traffic coming. So when we get caught up to this gentleman, we're going to initiate a traffic stop. If I can help it, I prefer not to stop people on the highway here where it's more dangerous. We just had that incident down in, was it Phoenix? Lost a 23-year veteran that was about to retire in like 3 months because he got hit by somebody while he was working a traffic accident. A car drove by and hit him while he was doing traffic control. Stuff like that happens all the time. So I try to pick the locations of my traffic stops into safer areas. Sometimes people don't cooperate. Most time they do. Yeah, so we're going to let this guy get past the Elk Ridge condominiums here because we don't want to block their driveway. And then we're going to go ahead and lights on, turn on my recorder. April 4th, 2019, traffic stop for speed, locked at 67.55, highest was 69. David 12 traffic.
David 12.
Be out at the White Mountain Commerce Plaza with Arizona Adam Charles.
1439.
This place is pretty busy right now, but this is generally a good spot to do traffic. We just got to situate ourselves safely here real quick so we can keep an eye on the vehicle while we're doing our thing. Coming up for the weekend? A lot of people come into town for the weekend. Now that the weather's improved, a little breezy, but I can live with that. It's not snowing, which is a good sign. Registration, so you're just looking for a proof of insurance card. One for the Honda. Prior to where you saw me, it drops from 55 to 65 because you've now entered the city limits. Residential subdivisions, that type of thing. July of 19.
My fault.
Conversation. Chatting each other up. Got it. Sit tight. I'll get you back on the road as quick as I can, sir. Okay? Be right back with you. So in an effort to reduce radio traffic, especially since we've picked up the Pine Top Lakeside Police Department on the same frequency and have more officers talking on our frequency, try to use my MDT, my mobile data terminal, or some people call them MDCs, mobile data computers, so I don't have to run driver's licenses, registrations and stuff. And then I've also run the driver's license. I can see his driver's license, restrictions, endorsements, all that kind of good stuff, and I see his license is valid. There's no suspensions, revocations, or anything like that. And when I run a driver's license for that driver's license status, the system automatically runs it through the database, so I can tell that he doesn't have any warrants for his arrest, either probation hits, sex offender registrations, all those types of things will, court orders, restraining orders, all those types of things will show up here too. So.
So we just had this black Ford Ranger pickup just roll through the stop sign here. So we're gonna go make a traffic stop on him. Make contact with them here. Traffic. 16th Ave and Ellsworth with Arizona Charles Mary Williams. No, it's all good. So,
Okay.
Do you have your registration and proof of insurance handy? Awesome.
Well, proof of insurance.
You're good to go though, as far as insurance,
Yeah,
because I can
I'm
just
with
run it
farmers,
through my. Okay.
And
All right, no
they
problem.
haven't sent me that.
Well, what I'll do, I'll just run it through my computer, but I'm sure
It'll
you're
be
good
on
to go.
there.
So
Yeah,
so let me get this written warning going, Mr.
Appreciate that.
We'll get you on your way, sir. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.